Where?
On your phone.
What's happening, everybody? Steve Polillo. Gotcha. I thought otherwise. Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. What's happening, guys? I know Frank was the first one there. I try to log on, get prepared, talk to our guest. Frankie's been waiting eagerly in front of the TV. I know, Steve, you wanted to talk about the Randy Orton versus Edge match yesterday, the greatest wrestling match ever.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Nothing beats Chris Benoit and what's his name there? Latino Heat there. What's his name?
Eddie Guerrero. You watched the dark side of the ring.
Yeah.
You see, guys, I'm pulling him in. I'm pulling him in, Stevie P. Let's just a little, a little Joe Cocker for you, Steve. Feeling all right. Oh man, it is Monday. It is Milan Weekly Podcast time. To our, what'd you say, Steve? Millions of listeners. Thousands of viewers? Millions of listeners. How about viewers on YouTube?
Millions of viewers.
Millions of viewers. I don't know why YouTube forgets those zeros, but hey, Stefano Gattuso says that we should have millions of viewers, right? To our friend David Fante that just celebrated an anniversary. Happy birthday to the First Lady. And guys, Milano Miguel saying, loving the jersey, Stevie P.
Yes, sir. It actually fits.
Anthony does need some laughs, so let's start it over. Start it
over. We didn't even start.
Cari amici sportivi, welcome yet to another edition of the Milan Weekly Podcast, here where we talk everything Milan. Out of Coppa Italia, Milan. A week away from starting Serie A, Milan, exactly. And well, we're not professionals.
Nor do we pretend to be.
Guys, we, for once, it's been a while that we actually have a match to talk about this time here, Stevie P. And we went to get ourselves quite the guest. This is your get, Steve. This is your get, as we would say.
This is our get. This is Milan Weekly Podcast as a team. And we get these fantastic guests week in and week out. And we've been putting in some overtime hours. Guys, you see the podcast, and my apologies straight out to Alex Donna. I had to cancel on him, or you would have had another one on Thursday. And unfortunately, I had an indigestion, and I could not have completed that podcast with him in great, gracious, glorious sound and quality that we do at Milan Weekly Podcast.
This high-end equipment that we have.
But this guest, I've been a fan. I'm a fan.
You're a fan?
Yeah, I'm a fan because it's intelligent conversations. We don't always agree. He calls me out, I call him out. Sometimes, a
little jab here, a little jab
here, a little jab there. But you know what it is, though? That's what the platform's for. That's what Twitter's for. Talk to intelligent people that know more than you. Learn from them. And then, you know what? That's how you become social media friends, I like to call it. And now I have the great honor to have him here on Milan Weekly Podcast with you, Vinny, as well.
A great get from Stevie P. And Steve, I got his name here en français. Antoine Le Peuple, Anthony Lo Popolo, directly from down the 401 over there in Tirana. And I know that he writes for the Score, Steve, but I told him, I'm like, Anthony, you have to put yourself over. Welcome, Anthony. Thank you for joining us tonight. And you know what? This is the time. Put yourself over. Who are you? What do you do? And why were you very eager to come onto the podcast today?
This is a great honor, honestly. I've been a fan of you guys for quite some time, and just to share the screen with you guys, it's awesome. It's just, I'm just happy to be here.
Oh, well, thank you for coming on. And I think he, what we call him in the wrestling world? He's a mark. He's a mark for the Milan Weekly Podcast.
Let's get to soccer. Stop with this stupid wrestling.
Anthony, just for other than writing for the Score, if you could just give us a little taste of what you do.
Yeah, I cover all the soccer leagues for the Score app. I'm sure it's if you guys don't have it, give it a download, especially now that the leagues are kicking back into action, kicking back into gear. We've got maybe 124 matches in 44 days in Serie A. It's going to be crazy, but hopefully there's no positive tests that kind of derail the season. But I'm looking forward to the next couple months.
Yeah, so are we. So are we. And Steve, you know what? Let's get straight into it. Anthony does not have any presidential points for us, so we're gonna just take it through what happened this weekend, what's upcoming, and get everybody's thoughts. So guys, let's talk about Friday. Friday was the second leg of the Coppa Italia, Milan Juventus. I know we didn't have all the players that we wanted to start. Didn't start off in the best of ways. Obviously, first 20, 30 minutes were completely horrendous. And I don't know, guys. I think there was a lot of hate on Twitter. Some people were saying given the circumstances, we played pretty good. Steve, I'm gonna first ask you, right? Let's go. Let's just start. Let's get this elephant out of the room. Let's talk about those cards and those calls. Let's talk about first the penalty. To you, Steve, do you agree that was a legitimate red card? Yes, I mean penalty. Yes.
Yes, I agree that it was a penalty. It was very unfortunate, but it's a penalty. What I don't agree with is the hate that Conti took for that. It's a knee-jerk reaction. Let's face it, guys. Your body reacts in certain ways to certain types of things that happen around to you. If someone wants to fake punch you in the face, you're going to put up your hands and you're going to try to block that. If someone wants to fake flick your balls, you're going to put your hands in front of your balls and you're going to protect your balls. The ball was going to it was an unlucky bounce that was going completely away from him. His first reaction was going to go get it with the closest body part. Guys, it happens to be the hand. VAR is there for a reason. Applaud VAR when it's used correctly because the ref didn't see it, and it justly so was a fast action on that part, and it was a penalty. I'm okay with that. I want to get on to the next one, so I'm going to make Anthony comment on the penalty.
So, Anthony, for you, do you think that the arm, if it would have stayed a bit more in, do you think that maybe because the ruling is saying if you enlarge your body, but I think at the beginning, at one angle, you didn't see it move so much, but do you think it was that extra move? How did you take this penalty?
That's exactly it, because he kind of made his body that little bit bigger. By rule, it is a penalty. It's one of those things though that I wish it wasn't a penalty, because it is harsh. It is harsh.
Definitely, yeah.
But that's the problem with handballs. I mean, there's so much. The rule can be so flexible, and yet it can be so. It needs reworking. It still needs reworking, and I feel like we've been having this conversation for 20 years. It's insane. But according to the rules as they are now, it is a penalty, as unfortunate as it is. I think a lot of people were also talking about the penalty that we conceded in the first leg that Ronaldo won off Calabria, and how that was, basically that was the goal that clinched it for Juve to get to the final itself. So, and that was a very, very harsh penalty, and a penalty that has not been called consistently. So, I mean, if we want to go that far back, we can. I have a bigger issue with that penalty than this one, but it is what it is at this point.
Yeah, because Anthony brings up a good point, right? It's harsh. And this one here, you see it move, and I know people are going to listen to the podcast, and non-Milanists are going to say, "Oh, it's because Donnarumma saved it." No, guys, it's not because Donnarumma saved it. It's a penalty. If that's the rule, it's a penalty, and I get that. I don't get the fact that what other position would you like this guy to have? I have never seen a professional soccer player run with his hands behind his back. It just doesn't happen. You're taught to create space. You're taught to have some kind of feel while you're a defender and feel where the opponent's going to be going. Not, we've seen the clutching and grabbing and the shirt pulling, but your arms are out, right? They're naturally out. That's a natural soccer player's position. It cannot be that things like this will change. It'll happen, guys. It will happen. In the coming years, we will get one of these dubious calls in a game more important than the semifinal of Coppa Italia, and it will be scrutinized, and then it will be changed.
Maybe then, and the way I try to always judge these kind of calls is, whether it be the penalty or the red card that we're going to talk about right now, and I'm like, okay, switch those jerseys around. Would you be appalled, the decision? And that's how I try to call it straight down the middle. Now, guys, it's very easy. We're going to talk about the red card, and it's very easy to say, yeah, but Pjanic did the same thing against Inter and this and that. But guys, that's like, what that sounds like? You coming into work late one day. How come you're late 5 minutes? Yeah, but you know what, Steve, 2-3 weeks ago, he came in 5 minutes late. You didn't say anything. That's the same reasoning from over there. I'm not saying it's right, but in the end, Steve, that kung fu kick, I could understand that, you're high on adrenaline. You seem that Donnarumma had saved it to get the post going from over there. But Rebic didn't look right from minute number one. Am I wrong, Steve?
You're wrong.
He just seemed out of place.
No, you're wrong. You're
Okay.
wrong. I'm sorry, guys. That if they're going to be calling that, we're removing soccer plays out of the equation right now. Yes, it looks like he's making a vicious tackle. That's a soccer play, guys. He's trying to control the ball. The defender is there. If you notice, Rebic I've watched it over and over and over. Rebic doesn't know that the defender is there. You can argue, should he know that the defender is going to be coming in? Yeah. If the defender is not there, he's controlling the ball and it's the counterattack, right? Is it reckless? Yes. But there's no intent to injure. There's zero intent to injure. We've seen worse tackles get not even a yellow card. Yeah. Tackles from behind are being it's a yellow. He got a bit of the ball. He got a blade of the ball. So it's not, and again, it's not because I'm a Milan fan. If you would switch the shirts around, I would still say no, it's not a red card because you're removing the 50-50 challenges from the game. You're removing the aggressive play from the game. If Rebic doesn't go for that ball, you know what he looks like? He looks like Paloschi in the semifinal against Italy when he got scared of Cannavaro. Do I want Rebic to look like Paloschi from Germany in that semifinal where he looked like he almost shot his pants?
Podolski,
whatever the fuck his name is. I'm just so pissed. I'm so pissed because they're ruining the game. What pisses me off even more is that the ref was going to give him a yellow. I was going to be able to digest the yellow. The ref has the ref's job, and we had a confrontation, Anthony. You don't have the privilege of being in the Milan Club Montreal WhatsApp group chat.
247 messages during the game. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, what I can't digest is that, guys, he's going there with a yellow. His decision, the referee's decision on the pitch, is to award Rebic a yellow, which I could understand. It's a caution. It's a reckless challenge. There's no intent to injure. Let's go. Let's keep these guys playing. Let's let the players decide the game. No. The fourth official was 30, 40 yards out. Magically, he wants to get involved in the game right now. And he's in the ref's ear saying, no, that's a red. No, that's a red. That's what bothers me. The ref needs to have a conversation with that fourth official, first of all, and say, what did you see? Because I saw this. We see it in football. We see it in basketball. We see it in hockey. And in soccer, it seems like, it cannot be in the ref's ear. It just looks bad. And the thing that pisses me off even more is that you leave a Milan side 75 plus minutes in a game where the first 25 minutes, actually, we looked terrible. And then those 75 minutes after, we actually looked even better than Juve.
And that's what I'm saying. Like Juve, like we were talking about with Anthony before, like it doesn't seem like even Juve showed up. And Anthony, do you agree with Steve? Do you think that maybe the fact that he showed the yellow is why maybe he's aggravating people? Because to me, if we got to look at the rules, I know there was no intent to hurt, and it's not like he went, facing forward the defender going straight with his cleat. But what is your take about that whole red card incident?
I mean, I agree with Steve to an extent. I think the the fact that he took out the yellow and then very quickly changed it, that there's got to be a discussion there. I mean, at the end of the day, the referee has the final say, and to be swayed so easily by what another one of his, what the fourth official says, it just seems a little bit strange that he would just change his opinion that quickly. And with all the Juve players surrounding him, just the optics look really bad. It makes it seem like he was under pressure to give a red card, and once the Juve players swarmed, it was like, okay, I have no choice but to give a red now.
But
so it seemed like maybe he.
Sorry, but why wouldn't he even go to see the VAR for this? Right? Is it
well,
not
that's
like
right. It's a red card play, so that's another thing. I just don't understand why the decision had to be made so quickly. But I do think in this case it was a red. I think I think Steve has a point, because if the player isn't there, he takes down the ball, he's off on the counter, and no one's hurt. I think the only difference is that, I mean, there was a defender there in this situation, and intent to injure doesn't necessarily have to be there to get a red. If it's just reckless enough, then the referee can deem it worthy of a red card. But I think the biggest gripe I have is that he took out the yellow and then within seconds changed his decision, just left a lot of people confused. And I think just by bringing out the yellow card, you raise a lot of doubts. So all of a sudden, like, it seems like the referee's made the decision, and then he's just changed it for whatever reason. Hearing something in his ear, the optics just looked really bad. It just looked really bad, and that's something that the referee, just take your time. Don't pull out a card. Just take your time. Talk to your fourth official if you have to. Take that extra few seconds. I mean, we're in the age of VAR now. We were used to taking those extra few seconds to make the right call. Do that. Don't make it look like you're flip flopping and you don't have control of the game.
Or even worse, being persuaded.
Being persuaded.
Exactly. That's even worse. That's the problem. That's what aggravates me the most, right, Anthony? Is because
Steve, would you have accepted, Steve? Let's just say, let's take it back. No yellow card. There's a little scramble, right? He just decides, he gets the call, let me go check it for myself. And he would have came back and given that red card. Would you have maybe more digested it better that way?
Yeah, I would have probably digested a little bit more, but I'm of the school that's not a red card. I'm not, guys, because then you're going to take away every physical challenge that exists in the game, guys. Yes, it's a high foot. And you know what? We were going back and forth on the Milan app. Guys, what's more dangerous? What Rebic did, and it's allowed, right? It's allowed. So an attempt at a bicycle kick is allowed and not considered a dangerous play. The guy his head is where his feet are supposed to be, and his feet are where his head are supposed to be, and that's less dangerous than what Rebic did. Guys, there's a bit of a problem there.
That's a fair point.
There's a bit of a problem there, guys. That you're taking away from the game. You're taking away from someone trying to do something. And I'm speaking for him just because of the way it looked, because he did not have any intent to injure. But it's a way to control the ball. The ball's bouncing out of control. He wants to take it on the at the highest point. Guys, let them go. The defenders, the collateral damage. I don't want anybody to get hurt. But in the end, the result is the ref is not managing the game anymore. He's managing what's going to happen after the game. And this is a big problem in Serie A, guys. And it's not only, you see on the comments, Orsato. It's not only Orsato. It's every ref. They are completely scared. There's the famous Italian saying that says, l'arbitro all'inglese. Why? Because English refs are known to make the play run on. Sometimes a bit too much, but hey, it keeps a flow to the game. And good refs, we saw the Colinas who are able to take over the game and control the game, control the players. If the refs can't do that anymore and plays like this will be scrutinized. I'm telling you, there will be another 4 to 5 incidents similar to this will not get red carded. I'm telling you. I'm going to document them. I'm documenting them for the score. That's
I hear what you're saying. I hear you what you're saying, Steve. It's like it's a difference from like the Nigel the Young episodes, or if you're looking back,
Nigel
it,
the Young, he channeled his inner Karate Kid, guys.
yeah,
But you
Yeah, that was
understand?
different.
But the
yeah,
ref
that was a
knew
different,
that was
yeah.
different. But the ref knew where he was. In that case, the ref that red card changes that final. You
But he
understand?
wasn't going for the ball. He went straight for the player. Where
Yeah,
here
he
you have
missed
Rebic.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Rebic, you can see like a la Ibra, many times we see him with the high leg and trying to bring down the ball. But I know what you're saying, Steve. But in the end, I think everybody would have digested it more if there was no call made whatsoever, right? Or even if he would have pulled a yellow, correct? And to decide to bring into a red, give us the satisfaction to go, you know what, guys, I reviewed it after this and I can definitely see not, oh yeah, it's a red. Okay, here you go, it's a red. And that's you know what, we can continue talking about this incident for the whole night. But I wanted to ask you guys a couple of different things. What did you guys think of I'm not going to ask about Çalhanoğlu because I think he appeared like in the 65th minute. Çalhanoğlu, I don't know if you saw him for the first 65th minute, Steve.
He
What do you
started?
guys think of Paquetá? Yeah, Çalhanoğlu started, Steve.
Oh.
He had a great free kick where with Kier, as I think that's the way we're supposed to pronounce his name. But how about Paquetá, guys? What did you? I don't know if you paid. I was trying to pay attention to him a bit on the game. He seemed. I'm not saying he had a great game. I just seen. To me, he seemed a bit different, but in a good way, right? He only lost the ball cheaply, maybe once or twice. We're usually like trying to take the ball up and this and that. I don't know if it because he was playing. Anthony, I don't know if you noticed anything from Paquetá or anybody in that game that's like, okay, I really enjoyed their play. But let's go with Paquetá because he's a big subject in these times. What did you think about what you saw?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he had an outstanding game, but I think there was a little bit more discipline to his game, and I think that's been the biggest criticism, against him since he joined Milan is that, he's too Brazilian. Well, that was Gianpaolo who said that, but that he's too Brazilian, that he's a little bit, he shows off a little bit too much, and that's been to his advantage sometimes. When he pulled off those moves and gotten by a defender or a marker where it's worked. But it has hindered his game as well. And in this game, I thought, I think he's reined it in a little bit. I think he's reading the game a little bit better. And whether that's just because he spent a little bit more time in Italy, and is getting more used to the tactics involved in Italian football and calcio. I think all of that, is you add all that up, and I think that's why we're seeing Paquetá just a little bit more toned down. Not that I want him to like lose his Brazilianness. I feel like
no.
that is what makes him a good player. I mean, I still have hope for him, and I still think that he can live up to his potential. I think it's just about picking his moments better and reading the game, and that's what I saw. I saw a player who was just picking his moments a little bit better. He did lose the ball a couple of times, but
not in the way that he used to, like trying to
That's
do
right.
a fancy move. And so I don't know if Steve, you saw maybe the same thing from Paquetá. Did you see maybe a bit of a difference from there? Should we keep him? I don't know. Like, is it one of these players that me and Steve were always talking about? Like, we gave Bakayoko last year by force a chance of 6-7 games, and you remember, Anthony, there was 6-7 games that he sucked ass.
He was awful,
and we had no choice because of the injury, right? And in the end, everybody, let's bring him back. Steve, I know we've spoken about Paquetá and this and that. Did you see any like maybe positives in his play from the game on Friday?
Yeah, I noticed that he was more confident. I noticed that he was walking around with his head high in a difficult situation, and I think credit Anthony pointed it out there. He was picking his spots more because I think there was more space. So whenever we would receive the ball, it would be in a counter attack opportunity for him, where he would have a little bit more space, a little bit more options. Guys, I've always been the believer that I think Paquetá should be playing closer to the net, because it limits his responsibilities defensively. We can use that Brazilian list that Anthony talked about, and I think his offensive knowledge and his offensive awareness is something that, and creativity is something that Milan is missing in that final third. We had Rebic sitting up there by himself for 15 minutes, and then we had Jack Bonaventura up there. But my question to Pioli, if I was someone in that press conference, why not put Paqueta up there? Put him higher up, put him closer to the net. He's not a born striker, but you're gonna get that Brazilianness. You're gonna get that him in the offensive zone. He might be able to create by himself, and maybe you're gonna see something that for future games we're gonna be able to use to our advantage, right? But uh, again, he didn't have a fantastic game, and you know what? No one on that pitch did. Let's face it, guys. Juve was terrible. Ronaldo, who is the peak of fitness in Serie A, looked like he was myself. He looked like he was playing. I was wearing number 7, and
You're
I
an
was on the
Adonis, Steve.
pitch.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, no,
You're
but
in
I'm just
tip-top
saying
shape.
he just looked sluggish. You understand?
Yeah.
And everybody, Juve looked sluggish. Like the
Yeah,
first couple of minutes, like Milan were back on their heels, but it's normal. They're playing away. Whether there's fans or there's no fans, you know that they were going to come out strong. But I find that Milan weathered that storm. There wasn't
They
there
did.
wasn't too many chances, and then after the red card, it looked like Juve had no idea. And if Juve is having trouble breaking down a 10-man Milan, scordati the Champions League, because you're not going to win it, and you have some serious things to think about.
true.
You
And
understand?
it
And
and
that's a deep Juve. Look at their changes, guys. Look at
that
their
was.
changes compared to our changes.
But Steve, you know what? You're talking about that and how deep Juve was, but people will say Juventus was not that great. But Anthony, how good was Romagnoli and Kier that night? And I just seems like they were such in sync. And it was not easy, guys. If you rewatch those first 25, 30 minutes, keeping calm and everything. What did you think of that defensive pairing? Because Calabria didn't have the greatest of games. Conti,
No.
other than that incident, right, did his job okay. But those two back there, those center backs, like wow, like it's been a while, right?
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. I'll give Calabria a little bit of a break since he was playing out of position. And Conti, I mean, it seems like he has one bad game or one good game and a few bad games. It's just he's struggling to find his rhythm, and I feel really bad for him. I think those injuries really, messed up his psyche. But for Chiara and Romagnoli, I didn't really think much of this pairing when they first played together. I didn't really think of the signing, much of the Chiara signing. I didn't really think much of it. I said, okay, let's see how this goes.
Kajar.
Yeah, Anthony, you need to pronounce names like Steve. Steve, anybody that you listen to on the ride, they all have it wrong. Steve, how do you Kajar?
Kajar.
Kajar. His name is
Kajar.
Kajar. Okay, there we go.
Kajar. Yeah, but when we signed him from Atalanta, I didn't really think much of him. I just thought, okay, well, we'll fill the formation at least. But he's quietly been very, very solid at the back, and one header that he had to clear danger was I can't remember if it was in the first half or the second half. It was fantastic. He saved, I think, what would have been a sure goal. And I think Chiara and Romagnoli, they're very similar defenders in that they're not too adventurous. Romagnoli he can step up and make an interception. But they're both, more on the conservative side. And so, they've worked really well. And, I think because, Milan were down to 10 men, made it really, really difficult for Juve to find space and to create chances, because the default position was obviously to defend. And it was very interesting to see those two, come out of this suspension and to look so good together.
Great synergy between both of them.
Yeah.
It's like it seemed they were doing pretty good. Steve, from both of them, it's like we always said something about that he's a silent captain. Romagnoli hasn't said much, but then your favorite player, as David likes to spell it out the way you pronounce it, Çalhanoğlu, he comes out at the end of the game and just says like siamo incazzati for these calls or this and that. Was he the right person to talk at that time? Do you think maybe Romagnoli? I don't see him, coming out and saying like this. But I don't know. What did you think about his comments? Like Çalhanoğlu was unexisting for most of the game. He can cross. I can give you that much. He can cross. He had a great cross then for Kajer, Steve. Sorry,
Vinny, but you just said it right now. You just said it. We cannot be starting someone in a professional soccer league like Serie A, where Milan is not the most talented team, where the only positive that we can say is that he can throw in a cross. Because you know what? Put me behind the ball, and I'm telling you, people will vouch for me. I will put in that same type of cross. You know what? I don't know if Anthony played soccer. Vinny, you have no hope. You will never be able to
no,
put in that. But if Anthony played soccer, put him behind the dead ball situation, you're gonna be able to hit a spot somewhere.
I
That's
was a
not what I.
goalkeeper for years, so
Oh, so,
I can take the ball.
so Anthony's gonna be able to hit a spot. You know, Vinny, that's what pisses me off with this Milan, and I get that Pioli and Milan have trust in Hakan, but he can't be, and you know what? And he stayed on the whole game, guys. We removed other players, and I'm not saying that they were not bad changes, because you don't know their physical state, right? I
yeah,
was a little bit pissed off at the Paqueta change, why he came off, because I think we needed that, especially at a certain point. Pioli needed to say, "I need to start taking some risks.
balls out. Yeah,
If we tie 0-0 or we lose 10-0, we're still out. So let's go try to get something from this, right? Inserting Leao was okay, but you need
yeah.
to keep some offensive flair in there, and I think it was a negative change. But Hakan coming out after, yeah, okay, I'm going to give it to him. He had the balls to talk. But unfortunately, and I'm going to say it again, I need my captain to come out and be the one who's talking. He's the one who talks on the field. He's the only one who can talk to the ref. He's going to have to start having these discussions. He's going to have to be putting his face out in the public after games and after tough losses like that, and saying some things that are going to piss people off.
No,
It's not
exactly.
Hakan.
No, it's not, and we've never heard him talk too much, Romagnoli. But you think that maybe? How about you, Anthony? Do you think Romagnoli just doesn't want to get involved in this because Çalhanoğlu just came off as not maybe bitter or like putting the blame on referees and like be pissed off from the first match, but do you think that if Romagnoli would have came out, people would take it like, holy shit, Romagnoli's talking, he must be really pissed? Or, oh, here's another one that's like, oh, the referees are bought or anything. Do you think, how do you think people would have perceived him coming out?
Yeah, I mean, I think Romagnoli naturally is a quiet guy, and I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to have one of those quiet leaders as your captain. But I think there's a time and place for your captain to step up and face the music, so to speak. I think that this was, I think after any kind of elimination, that's the time for the captain to face the camera and answer the questions. I'm curious to see, what the process is behind the scenes. Rai was carrying this game, so I wonder if, Rai asked for a certain player, if they wanted Çalhanoğlu, or if the club, vetoed a certain request. I don't really know what happens behind the scenes, but I think the straightforward answer is that the captain should be, the captain, the coach should be talking to the press, more often than the rest of the team. And just from a leadership standpoint, right? You know who are the leaders on this team, and you don't even have to say, they don't have to even say anything of substance, really. I think just seeing them on the screen, seeing them, in front of the microphones, that just confirms, who's running the show, so to speak.
Exactly. It makes a lot of sense on that one. Like Alain Maldini, right? They didn't speak a lot, but when he spoke, people listened.
Yeah.
We do have a couple of questions to go through.
Wait a
Steve.
second. Before you go to the questions.
Yes.
Hey, can we give this guy some praise? Because someone check Frank Kessie's heat map.
I was going to say Frank Kessie, yeah.
And if he didn't do in the 70s, 80 minutes that he played, 100,000 kilometers, I would be shocked.
He did not take a step back, Steve, during this thing. I think he ran like he's running exactly the way he was running at the beginning of the season. Did not give up a lot of cheap balls. Played his position, and actually, I was looking at the time like to ask him about Kessie, but I find he was, possibly with Donnarumma, maybe the man of the match. Am I far fetching here? I don't know what you guys think.
You're not. Frank
Anthony, did
Kessie,
you? Yeah,
Frank Kessie is the key to Benacer. I'm telling you guys, they need to be together, and they need to be together consistently, and get some some kind of synergy. I see Bakayoko here, I see Bakayoko there. Guys, Bakayoko is not going to be the world savior here on this Milan.
no,
You
but
have someone like Frank Kessie who, when doing his job, which is, again, I'm going to repeat it for the 150,000th time on this podcast. His job is to recuperate balls and
and
to
he
right.
pass
covered
it off.
he covered Benacer a lot, Steve, because Benacer the first 20 minutes was not tip top shape, and thank God for Kessie on recuperating, covering him. Am
But
I wrong in stating that?
no, but that's it. That's his role. He's going to take this young guy and he's going to let his offensiveness turn him loose. Benacer doesn't look phased when he's in our third and he has to make a tough pass, because he knows if he loses it, it's going to probably be Frank Kessie who's going to get it back for him. But
That's right.
that's what I want the people of Magical Milan Twitter to understand, is that you're looking at that highlight reel when he gives away a ball, or in the final third he doesn't hit the net. Am I pissed off when the final third when he doesn't hit the net? Yes, because he's a professional soccer player and he should be able to score a couple of goals. But if you look at the man for what he does and what his true position is, guys, there's not a lot of players, and you know what? He's very young. People forget his age. He looks much older than he is, but he's very young, and I think he's a key piece of Milan, and he's a key piece for Benacer.
How about you, Anthony? Did you
That's
do you agree
that's
with
a yeah. I mean, I've been very critical of Kessie in the past, but I think Steve hit the nail right on the head. I think Kessie's kind of been lost in this team in the past couple of years. He's kind of been tasked with doing multiple jobs. I don't think he's at his best when he has to bring the ball forward, but he doesn't have to do that anymore because Benacer can do that, and Benacer can dribble, and so his Kessie's job becomes a little bit simpler, and he can do what he does best, and that is recycle possession, recover loose balls. That's what he does best. And that's not to say that he doesn't have skill. Obviously, he's a professional footballer, but I think that's he's when recovering or making up for lost ground. Those are the things that he does really well. And my issue with the Bakayoko rumors, obviously he was fantastic for Milan, and I wouldn't hate it if he returned, but my issue is that he's too similar to Benacer in that they both like to dribble, they both like to carry the ball forward, and if you play both of them, I think there's a bit of a defensive hole there, and I think it would just create an imbalance. Whereas with Kessie and Benacer, I think there's more of an understanding. Kessie can clean up, and Benacer, doesn't have to worry so much about the space that he's leaving behind. So. I mean, if Benacer sold for 50 million euros or whatever, then absolutely bring him Bakayoko as his replacement. But I don't think that's a rumor that we need to pursue.
very well said. No, Larry, I'm drinking a beer from my Batman glass because I'm a Batman freak, and yes, I got the comic books all over the place. Steve, you just became BBC dad. What is he meaning there, David?
Yeah, because my daughter came on my right hand shoulder over there, and I
She
kind of
wants
like
to
elbowed her out.
elbow out. Colin, our friend Steve, he sent us a message on Facebook. He said it's been a while, and he's been having coronavirus cabin fever. But I just wanted to say hi to you. And he was just basically like, anyways, after watching semifinals on Friday, we need some serious changes in both management and personnel. I don't want rumors anymore. I want confirmation if Ragnick is coming or not, and that we will have a proper project to work on. And he goes, I hope Rigno does it on Wednesday. Yes, and we hope Gattuso does win it for Napoli on Wednesday. But let's talk about this. Is like this whole Ragnick thing. It's just at one point it's just like, stop taking us for idiots, or just, can we just have some sort of truth? Or, you know, I think we can handle the news, but, you know, Steve, what I took from his message, like, enough of these rumors. It just seems that, you know, you get a lot of rumors with these top teams, and it just seems like Milan always follows these rumors, this whole Ragnick. Do you agree, Steve? Like, you know, enough with this. Like, just tell us the truth and just tell us the way it's gonna go. I don't know. Or do you think it's just better not to talk about bringing in Ragnick, so you can't screw up Pioli's final weeks in the season?
That's been my stance from the beginning, right? If they had to bring someone in, and I agree with the whole, the Maldini and the Boban rant, where people are still trying to do their work, and you're constantly having conversations with someone else who's going to take whoever role he's going to be. He might even be the prime minister of Italy if it's up to Milan, because they want to give him every position possible. But the rumors are always going to be there, and navigate them. And unfortunately, we've been critical, myself, and I'm not shy to say it. I've been critical about Milan and the way they handle these types of stories. Yeah, it's distracting. Pioli seems to be a professional, and you know what? I have to tip my hat to him. I wasn't the biggest Pioli fan, but he's been navigating them quite well. And oh, did Milan Twitter get scared when the rumor came out that Ragnick's going to Borussia Dortmund? Woo! That was a Ric Flair woo, because everybody was squared. They were getting on their phones. Oh my God, what are we gonna do? Oh my God, oh my God, the ship is gonna blow up. The ship is gonna blow up. Guys, you have to take it for what it is. This is why I love Mercato Madness. I thrive
Steve
in this.
loves
I
it.
love
He
the
loves it.
reaction. I
And
love the
and
reaction.
and he's the reason why we got ourselves some turtlenecks, Steve. Right? We would have never bought these beautiful turtlenecks. Wait, Anthony, wait until we sport them out. Red wine, neck high turtlenecks that we bought, Steve and I.
Oh man,
Body
I
body
love it.
fitted, body fitted from over there. But how about you? Are you with the stop giving us rumors? Just give us just give us it straight out. Or you like Steve, like all these rumors and innuendos? And where do you stand with all these mercato madness?
Yeah, I mean, I can talk from two perspectives. I can talk as a fan. I can talk as some member of the media. I guess as a member of the media, these stories, gives us something to write about, right? So for us, it's gold. But for as a fan, it is it's tough. I'm reminded of when Guardiola took over the job at City, and when Manuel Pellegrini was still in charge, and it was still several months left in the season. And Pellegrini said afterward that it really affected him on a psychological and personal level. That he knew basically that he was done there, but he still had several months to go. And confirming somebody before the end of the season might sound like a good idea, but I think it can really cause a lot of problems for the people who are still in that job, and affect their ability to do their job properly until they're no longer needed. So, I kind of feel for Pioli, because he seems to find himself always in really tricky situations. Obviously, he was coach of Fiorentina when Astori died as well, so he had to deal with that, and he dealt with that with so much grace. And now with the COVID situation and all these rumors, I can't speak highly enough of him as a man. I think he's always done really well in these kind of positions.
Yeah, definitely. And Jamie wants to know, as a member of the media, Anthony, in your opinion, is Ragnick coming to Milan? So now you have to answer as the media pundit that you are, and he's gonna give us a political answer where it's gonna be he's not really, but I'm gonna let you, because I could just imagine what it is for you to get a story and then need to go validate, because I'm sure you're not like most of the population where they get a feed from some sort of newspaper and post it right away. And hey, so I could just imagine all the research that you have to do until validating something. But okay,
Yeah.
so Antoine Le Peuple, that works for RDS over here. Do you think he's coming?
I think he's coming. Yes. I think there's been too much smoke, and I think I think there's something to be said about some of these reports, that he's learning Italian. And I think too, the job that he's currently in with Red Bull, they created this technical director role just for him. So it's not something that when he leaves, they don't really have to replace him. I think this was more of a placeholder for him until he found another job. And I think there are very few clubs of Milan's magnitude. We are at this point. We're not among the best clubs in the world, but we still are a big club. And I think there are very few clubs out there that would hand him as much autonomy as we would right now. And I think that really appeals to him. And I think that he needs that to operate, considering what he's done with, what he did with Leipzig and how he shaped that team. And my only curiosity for me is, if Maldini stays on, if he can compromise, because, he's a very principled man. He can be stubborn at times. And if he can work with Ragnick, I think that would be very beneficial. But I just don't know if they can make it work.
And I love it how don't you love social media, Steve? Jamie's like, that's it, breaking news. He just confirmed that Ragnick is coming to Milan, so that's gonna be the headlines tomorrow. Anthony Lopopolo conferma su per il Milan Weekly Podcast che Ragnick arriva al Milan. Yes, David, we want that smoke. But well, let's go to a couple of questions on the Ask Vinny and Steve hashtag. Gigi La Patate, Gigi, he always comes with these curveballs. He wants to know who is your favorite players from the top 5 leagues. England, Italy, Spain, Germany, and Netherlands. Why do you ask us this after 3 months we haven't watched soccer, football, Gigi La Patate? You know what? Can we go with all-time favorites, Steve? Can we at least change that a little bit, unless we don't have... Steve, how about you? Who do you love in England, your favorite player in England?
Am I going in the past or I'm staying now?
You know what? Because I can't even think of player. What am I going to say? Harry Kane. Let's go with your favorite player in England. That always stayed in England. Your favorite player of all time.
I've grown to appreciate him more and more, but I was a big. I like Paul Scholes. I just like the way he managed Man United. I really liked the the mystique of the Cantonas.
Yeah.
I enjoyed watching the offensive power that was Arsenal. So I'm a big fan of Bergkamp and his graceful touches. Those are the guys that I liked, to be very honest with you, especially watching England, the English Premier League. It's the goal-bound stuff, right? Did I enjoy Beckham when he was at Manchester United? Not so much. I liked him more when he was at Real Madrid. I found that, and again, someone like Beckham, I wasn't the biggest fan of his game. I found that there was a lot of holes in his game, but man, could that guy strike a ball? Let me tell you that much. And in England, we were lucky to see Zola play for Chelsea. That was nice. I really enjoyed that. It put Italy on the map in terms of we were always known that the Italians could not play anywhere other than Italy. And Zola went there, and he was the wizard, man. He turned Chelsea upside down. So
yeah.
I liked seeing Zola there at Chelsea. Besides that, guys, to be very honest, when I watch other teams, I'm watching the game and I want to see what they play. Never a big fan of the English game. I thought it was more physical than it is tactical, like Italy. So those are the guys that I liked, right? So
just to name them off really quickly, because we're not going to finish. How about your Italian favorite player, Serie A favorite player of all time? You got to go with Baggio. For you, Steve?
For me, it's going to be Baggio, yeah.
Baggio. How about in Spain?
In Spain?
Yeah.
Oof, that's tough, man.
It's tough on those ones. Germany, Gigi, give us at least like a private message so we could prepare for these questions. Anthony, anybody come to mind for yourself in England, Germany, Netherlands? Anything? Any players come to mind?
I love Frank Lampard. I love goal scoring midfielders, so he was one of the best at that. Spain, I mean, I got to go Messi, right? It's clear.
You know what I like, Steve, in England? Joey Barton, because he was such a bad boy. Joey Barton making fun of Ibra. What a salami from over there. But Anthony, sorry. About in Germany, anybody favorites back in Germany?
In Germany, I actually, before he suffered a lot of injuries, I love watching Marco Reus. I thought he was linked with Milan on a few occasions too. I would have loved to, to watch him play with us at some point in his career. Too bad about the injuries, but yeah, I really enjoyed watching him, and even Aubameyang when he was at Dortmund.
Yeah.
That's another one that got away, but that's another story.
Raul from Faz, that was a great pick because that was like the whole
Yeah,
Raul versus Inzaghi back in the day. I loved watching him play at Madrid. Steve, anybody else coming to mind?
For in Spain, there I'm gonna go with the R9 man, both the Barcelona and the time at Real
Yeah,
Madrid. That guy was just and guys, I keep on saying it, man. Redondo was crazy. Like I love
yeah,
those fantasista players, man. And I retweeted it a couple of weeks ago there that back heel where he went around the guy. Come on, guys,
yeah,
that's class, right? And class like that. Now he was never injuries took away a lot of his career. But I feel for those types of guys, right? They had a bucket of talent, and never the coach's favorite, right? It's the coach's nightmare, right? Types of players like that who are fantasista types there. I
yeah.
was never a big Raul fan there. I found he was a bit of a garbage goal guy. But hey, we'll give it to him. I admired the Iniesta. I admired the Xavis of that time. And look, Figo, they're full. Spain was
Figo
full
was
of
good. Figo was good back in those
yeah,
90s. We
Figo was
love to
good.
hate him. We love to hate him,
And
right? Those are
Germany,
the
man, the Polish killer, man, Lewandowski, and at
Klose,
Borussia,
Miroslav Klose, guys. Come on,
Klose was
Klose
good
was
too.
was was top of the. But thanks you for that question, Gigi. Give us a heads up next time. Zvanko, because Zvanko's from Sweden. He just joined us right now. I'm going to read his question. He's saying, "Do we need stupid people in our in our squad?" During Corona, Zlatan traveled to Sweden, watches one game with Hammerby, where he's a shareholder, enters changing room, greets people, travels back to Milano. Should even be allowed to enter Milano, let alone Milanello. Zwanko, I think for sure they must have tests on the spot where they can get results right away. I'm sure Ibra took every precaution possible. I'm agreeing with him that from the outside that this does not look good. But do you think do you think they got the Ibra treatment, Steve, that he could do whatever he wants? Or I'm sure they really went through everything to make sure that nothing happened.
No, guys, you're playing with the multi-million-dollar investment here, guys. It's not only Ibra that's part of Milan. They have Milan has invested in all those players. Why would they put all the rest of those players at risk, especially their $70 million goaler who's sitting there? So
Yeah.
let alone Ibra. Guys, look, it's only normal. Ibra's not going to stay, right? Comments this week and all that stuff. It puts a little bit of a bad taste in everybody's mouth. But guys, I have to remind you, Ibra came to a real bucket of shit, guys. If
Hmm.
you think Milan was anything else better than a bucket of shit, you need to adjust your eyeglasses or take a trip to the eye doctor once coronavirus is over and get your eyes checked, because this guy, and he said it, and you read it, and it hurts, but it's the truth. The guy's here because of the color of the shirt. He's here for his past time at Milan, not for the present time, because unfortunately, like all of us here, the three of us on this podcast, everybody on the chat, everybody on Milan Twitter, it's 10 goddamn years, if not more, that we're suffering with this, not having a project, not knowing to understand where this Milan is going to go. Hopefully, Ragnarok is the answer, and he's gonna be the one who's gonna hammer in some sort of project. But guys, until I see it, I will not be on board in terms of where this team is going, because if I'm how many kilometers away across an ocean in a country where hockey reigns supreme, and we've been saying for the past 5 to 6 years, Milan needs someone in the midfield to on the offensive side to be that general, to take over that game, and I don't think we have that yet. And Benasir is someone who can be that, maybe. I don't know if he has that much on the offensive side, but a good building block. But when you
Yeah.
see the rumors of the Tonali, and that's the type of player that looks like Milan really really needed, and he's going to go to the Cousins who have a stacked midfield, like we said last week, you're a little bit disappointed in your team.
I get what Zvanko is saying is that even though it can be done in all security, it's just a perception that comes out. And yes, we love Ibra, joking around that Ibra doesn't get COVID, COVID gets Ibra. It's basically what happened to people in Italy taking a private jet. And it's just the way it got perceived. And Steve, Larry wants to know, wasn't Ragnarok the destruction of Asgard? Yes.
Yes.
That's the way Steve is going to pronounce it from now on. But I don't want to spend too much time on this. But I know you mentioned Benacer, and Anthony, I'm gonna ask you because our friend Francis, he's a snake, but we like him. He's just like our friend Nima. He's like the garden snake. They're very harmless. But he's talking about. He says apparently top clubs have been interested in Benacer. Do you really believe in the 50 million figure being thrown around? Okay, so first question would be to you because you got the inside scoops. How much truth do you put to this 50 million? And to a follow up to that, what would be your number to capitalize on Benacer?
Yeah, I mean, the number is true. That's his release clause, 50 million euros. Not active until next summer from what I understand. So it's not like an imminent threat, I guess, so to speak, for clubs that might be interested in him now. They can't activate that clause just yet. But I'm interested because the transfer market is completely changed now. The pandemic has affected clubs on an economic level. So would a club spend even 50 million euros on Benacer right now? I'm not sure. Milan signed him for 16 million euros plus. So that would be an incredible profit, but it doesn't really make sense. I don't think he would want to leave right now. It doesn't seem like he wants to leave. No. I think he wants to build his career, and I think he has an opportunity. He's a guaranteed starter at this club. So I think it's a rumor right now that we don't have to pay too much mind to.
But would 50 million to you, let's say if you were in that position, and watch it because Jamie's saying he's breaking news, like he's just waiting for you to say something. He's gonna be breaking news. But 50 million? Would you take 50 million if you were in that position to make that decision? It's a hard question, I know.
It's a really hard question because it's almost around what he's worth. It's almost around what he's worth. If it was 60 million, I'd take it, no questions. Okay. 50
like
million
maybe 50 million net in our pockets, maybe after paying off everybody. But I don't know if 50. I don't know, Steve. Would you take 50?
The thing is, it's always about who you're going to replace him with, right? If there's a replacement lined up, then you can understand the sale. But right now, I don't know. He's an untouchable, right? At this point.
You see what Faz from New York's writing, like in Italian. Dal Canada arriva la conferma. Benacer rimarrà. I love social media. Steve, would you let's just say it was on the table. Would you take 50?
No, not right now. Not right now because twofold. One, we have no one to replace him. Two, I think the ceiling is higher. Yeah. I really believe it. I think surrounded with the right people, I think the ceiling is higher. There will come a point in time where, yes, clubs will come knocking, but I want people, if you're going to come and take from my Milan, I want people to pay. People have not been paying. Milan, they've been coming to Milan and they've been plugging away all their stuff. And and they've been succeeding. I'm gonna say the Andrea Silva experiment that's happening now, the Piontek experiment that's happening now. We don't know what's gonna happen. We said when we sold or we exchanged loans, so that's a new thing now. That look, we don't know how these guys are gonna adapt to this new league. Are they gonna score? And that's just a dumb example. I'm just saying Milan need to understand and develop this talent. And I think right now we haven't even gone a full season, guys. And this season, I don't even count it as a full season because this is not a normal season. We're not under the normal circumstances. I think there's upside to his offensive game. And that he has one season with 10 goals, guys. That 50 is going to go to 70. And that's $20 million more. then you got to start looking at the contract. Like what did we get him
How much
from
is he
Empoli
making?
for?
Exactly. But
What
I
did we
like,
get him? What did we get him from Empoli for? And when we sell him, does Empoli make money off that? If yes, then we're gonna have to start thinking about that as well.
That's right.
But the biggest piece, guys, is that we can sell Benacer tomorrow. And if someone's going to give us 50, 60 million, that's great. We have a $60 million problem because I don't trust until we have a project them replacing Benacer with someone. Yes, Maldini and Boban brought him in. I have full.
no, it was
I give
Masada,
them.
wasn't it?
Yeah, Masada. Anthony, I want to. You know what? Can I
Here we go.
buy? Can I buy an article? I want to buy a piece of the score app just to put a picture of Masada, and the article is going to be what is his position.
We want you to have a like. What does he do?
What does he
I
do?
don't know. I don't know.
If he doesn't know, Steve,
I
uh,
don't know what he does. He's just in the picture. He's in the photos, right? And when they sign a player, he's in the photos. But
he's on the
he
phone.
just kind of seems like he's there. He's a furniture. I don't know.
I feel a lot better, Steve. That even if Anthony doesn't even know what Masada does, but thank you for that. I like Milan Mo's question, guys. He says, for me, Jack Bonaventura is the best offensive midfielder we have right now, and one of the last to really care for the shirt, and is just 30 years old. Do you think it is a mistake not renewing his contract and let him go even for free? That's your personal opinion. Like, the best midfielder he was, I think, in the last 6 months. After that injury, coming back, but. Let's talk about this because we haven't had time to talk about Jack Bonaventura. Steve, do you think there's might be something behind closed doors that we're not hearing right now? Like, it just doesn't seem natural, or doesn't seem, I don't know, like just Jack just leaving like that, not even listening to is it he didn't want to renew? Is it Milan didn't want to give him a renewal? I don't know. We've had him for the last 5 years, and he's been basically bleeding red and black from the team for the last 5 years, not because he comes out and shows it's because he's the only one that's been consistently in the team for the last 5 years. But
Yeah.
What's your take about this whole Bonaventura thing?
Look, unfortunately, it's injury problems, right? He lost. He suffered an injury that slowed him down that half a step, and age is taking away that other half a step. And now you seem that you're a full step slower. He was based on speed. He was based on the cutting. He was based on dribbling, taking that shot from outside the box. At a certain point, he has to either understand that his role is going to be that of someone who's going to come in at the 60, 65th minute and finish off a game. I have no problem with Jack Benaventura finishing off a game. I think he, like Mo said, he has been someone who's bled the red and black for the longest time and suffered for the longest time. But the thing is that we've always criticized Milan where they haven't understood when it's time to let go of someone. And I think maybe now, maybe it's a Gazidis thing, maybe it's a thing
Raiola,
between Raiola and not, and we don't know what kind of money he's asking for. You can't have someone who's playing 30 minutes a game, if he's playing 30 minutes a game, making Bonaventura's money, or if he's wanting more. So there's a lot of things that we don't know. If I would talk with my heart, to be very honest, I would like him to stay because I think if Milan does turn it around in the next 2 years and he's there for the next 2 years, he's one of the people that deserves that success. But at that price and him starting over, maybe someone younger, maybe taking some minutes away from a new signing, I don't think so. I think he has to either know his role or he has to move on. And I think maybe he thinks that he can still play 90 minutes, and I'm probably sure he can. The thing is that Vinny and Anthony, Milan cannot turn that corner with having Jack Bonaventura on the field for 90 plus minutes, 36 to 38 games in the year, right? So if you want to turn that corner, you need the new signings. You need some veteran presence. And again, it's a business decision. It's a business. There's no more bandiere. And no hard feelings to Jack. I hope he does great wherever he goes.
yeah,
But again, those minutes that Jack was coming in and either finishing off a game or scoring a game. Now Milan's not in that situation anymore. We're not winning games and closing them out. We're usually behind, or we're usually struggling to find the point. It's a different Milan, guys. So I give him all the respect if he needs to leave, but there's no hard feelings for me. The only thing that counts is this crest over here, the
That's
crest,
it. You know,
not
Anthony, how
Puma.
about
This one here, this one here.
that? And Anthony, before you announce where he's going, Jack Bonaventura is going to be breaking news over. But you think David talked about is Jack leaving because of Raiola? Do you think he has a part to play? I know he's very vocal usually, and he hasn't said anything. But I like what Steve is saying is that we're not going to be able to, and very well said, Steve. We're not going to turn this corner having Jack Bonaventura playing 90 minutes. And let's be honest, guys. Out of the Serie A teams, and I'm talking about the bottom 10, where would Jack be a solid starter game in, game out? But what do you take about this whole situation with Jack?
It's kind of sad, honestly. It's sad to see the story kind of end like this. I think he is going to leave at the end of the season. And I think there are a couple of things here. I think, one, he still wants to be a starter, and I don't think Milan are in any position to guarantee him a spot in the squad, let alone in the starting lineup. I just think, it's just we need a more dynamic midfielder, and unfortunately, he's just not that player anymore. And the second thing is, this is the last big contract that he's going to get in his career, and so. I think, with Raiola, obviously, we all, have our opinions about the guy, but at the end of the day, he gets what he can for his clients, and he's going to secure the bag for them if especially for a player who's in his 30s and is gonna this is his last big deal. So if he can make money, all the power to him at another club, whether that's Roma or. If Torino, I know Torino has also been linked with them, so he'll definitely be a starter at Torino. No disrespect to Torino, but he can definitely be a starter there. It's just at this point in time, I think it's just natural for both parties to part, and yeah, we're just at that point now.
Well, like I was telling Faz, Regina made it to Serie B, Steve. I'll take him at Regina, my beloved Reggio Calabria will make it back at Serie B from over there.
So did Monza.
Monza and Regina. And Berlusconi's in Serie A already. But che ci vuole in Serie B? We're going to be in Serie A. Freaking Silvio.
But I have a question. I have my own. Yeah.
You have a question, Steve?
No, Anthony said that Regina signed Jeremy Menez, so you have some talent on that Regina.
There you go.
But I have a question. I have a question for you guys, and this is the thing that frustrates me about this whole Jack situation. I've had to see X number of games with Chanalobolu playing on that left-hand side. I think to be a healthy Jack is as effective, if not more effective, than Chanalobolu.
I agree with that.
We're not turning the corner with either or. Let's face it, guys. But if I have to give a starting sweater to someone who suffered for the past 10 years, I'm giving it to Jack. I'm not giving it to Hakan, this magical free kick wizard who has not even hit the net, and I think he scored one goal from a free kick, and I think it deflected. I'm not giving it to Hakan because he could put in one good cross. I'm giving it to Jack. That's the thing. That's the strange part that I don't understand about the situation. And is it because he's slowed down? I don't know. But Hakan's not any faster, guys. And he's healthy and younger.
You're making sense, and I guess maybe one day the truth will come out behind these closed doors. But I think we all agree to no hard feelings. We love for what you did the last couple of years. A question from Christian Espinoza, our friend Steve. Are you excited about Kalulu? Excited about Kalulu. I'm not going to pretend that I knew. Well, Steve, you can't really butcher this name. You just gotta.
If I butcher it, it's because I can't read.
Exactly. So Kalulu supposedly has been somewhat signed. Anthony, before, watch your words because you've had several breaking stories on the comment. But do you know anything about this kid Kalulu? I know he's Nutercino, French born. I hope it's going to be another like Tio Hernandez, like some sort of diamond in the rough. But have you any information about this kid?
No, I got nothing. All I know is that he's come through Lyon's system, and that's about it. He's the right back. I feel like this is some like analytics approach maybe that they're taking to find this guy. I don't know.
And in the end, Anthony's fitting in quite perfectly, Steve. We're not professionals, nor do we pretend to be.
No.
Love it. And just
to touch a little bit on this guy here, what worries me is that he's going through Lyon's system. Lyon produces some great players, but Lyon doesn't want to keep him. So is it a contract thing? Which it can be.
Can be.
But if he was really that good, would they have offered him a thing? And look, Theo Hernandez, I had no idea who Theo Hernandez was. He's been a revelation. If they prove to me with this signing that they've done their homework and he turns into a right back that can start, you know what? I start to believe a little bit in this process again. I'm not an analytics guy. I'm not a stats guy. I don't believe that stats and analytics can tell you the full thing about a player. But it's better than what we've been doing in the past. Let me tell you that much.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to see. We have to give it a chance, right? But Italy's not ready for. Italy still has like VHS, man. People have VHS there.
Nothing wrong with VHS.
The VAR is probably on VHS, right? Because apparently we lose sound of only a particular VAR situation, right?
And Serie A, they have to, if they don't rewind the tapes, they get fined the Serie A when they run the VHS tapes. And finally, Massimo, yes, even if we were losing all these players, I believe we're going to come out strong against Lecce and come up with some sort of a couple of wins because we're going to need them.
Okay. I have my hand up. I want to ask a question.
I have a good one for you guys, but go ahead.
Okay, I hope I don't steal your question.
I hope not. Okay,
what's your question? Say your question.
No, not a question. It's my indigestion, and I'm gonna go. I'm really gonna go on this one because I'm
not indigestion. I want to know: is Rebic suspended for this Lecce game?
Why would he be suspended?
No, I don't think he is. But
because
it's a valid question.
The mystique of Coppa Italia, right? We don't know if the card accumulation or red cards transfers over to Serie A. So I've seen him in some lineups, but I'm not 100% convinced that he's going to be playing on Monday.
You're right. I think there is something that we've seen that now that they carry over from Coppa Italia to.
I don't know. I know Jan, another fellow admin of Milan Club Montreal, said he's suspended. Today I saw him in a couple of lineups. Especially I saw him in a couple of lineups also on Sky. So I'm not 100% sure.
Facebook Frank, our fellow historian there, is suspended for the next cup game. Same with Ospina from Napoli. Okay, we'll see.
Thank you, Frank. I know that. I want to know if it transfers over to Serie A.
No, I just checked. It apparently does not. So it's
breaking news, guys.
The next Coppa game.
Guys, Faz is right. Kumbaricic is right. A Super Coppa transferred over. Super Coppa transferred over to a regular season.
Well, that makes more sense, right? That makes more sense. Anthony, we usually do our it's been a long time when we haven't had our brioche of the week or our feel good moment, but this week I have an indigestion, and guys, I'm fucking appalled. We know what's going on in the world. Milan comes out. Black Lives Matters. Juventus. Why do you have to be fucking different from no race? Everybody, Black Lives Matters. Everybody, no. You have to do no racism. But why can't you be in fucking like the rest of the fucking world? Why can't you just do everything? All the teams around no, me, I'm Juventus. No racism. Why couldn't you just fucking say Black Lives Matters like everybody else? Because I'm fucking Juventus. Fuck them, and fuck them to hell. Sorry, Steve. No, it really fucking pissed me off. Why couldn't you just do like everybody else? Why?
I have no idea. Maybe they flipped a coin and one had Black Lives Matters and one had no racism. Uh,
But FIFA was doing no racism for fucking years. Why can't you just adhere to everybody else? Jesus fucking Christ, man, Juventus. Well, who are you? Who are you? You fucking won shit? You're nothing. You won Serie A for fucking 9 years in a row. You're fucking shit. You haven't fucking won a cup anywhere. You can't just do like everybody else. Black Lives Matters. That's what the whole fucking movement is, Juventus. Not no to racism. Eva Funkul. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Steve. Anything that fucking pissed you off this week? Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
Sorry, not as much as you there. That's for
No,
sure.
it just fucking pissed me off. Like I don't understand why you just couldn't do like what you're afraid of people were gonna say. You have Marcelo fucking kneeling down and your political, everybody's political views, whatever the case may be. It's a worldwide movement. Why do you have to be different from everybody fucking else?
I have
So
no
fuck
idea.
it. Anyways, okay, I said my piece. I feel a lot better now. Stevie P, anything that
No, I had my rant at the beginning, right? Nothing pissed me off more than this stupid red card to Rebic. And it's not again because I'm a Milan fan. For people who are chiming in live here or gonna listen to it in your car, guys, more transparent. And I'm not a homer. I just don't want to see the game go through that dark tunnel where it becomes very ticky tack, and every single foul is a red card, and everything is gonna be in this famous gray zone. And let these guys play. 50-50 challenges are part of the game. If you're not going and kill someone and you're not going out for the guy's knees, make them play and make the players decide the game. And the refs are there to manage the game and let the players decide what the end result of that game is.
that's it. You know what? Maybe Anthony can. Maybe I can pick your. Unless you have an indigestion yourself, could you explain to us Mario Balotelli? He shows up to practice just to prove that he could go to practice. Then they send him home. I don't.
What a
Can you shed
disaster.
some sort? Yeah, what a disaster! I don't know if you have some inside scoop. Watch it, because they're reading, and it's going to be breaking news once again. But any insight from? If you don't mind, can I pick your indigestion of the week with this whole fucking Balotelli thing? So is he not part of the team anymore?
He's technically still part of the team. I think Brescia is they're in the process of
Terminating
filing
his
legal,
contract, yeah, or
terminating
something.
his contract. They filed the legal paperwork. They've contacted Balotelli's lawyers. I don't really know what happened behind the scenes. Apparently, he didn't show up to training because of an injury, and that he had a doctor's note to prove it. But he submitted the note to the club too late. I don't know. It's just something. There's always something with Balotelli. Unfortunately,
But
I've been
Chelino is special. You gotta admit.
Chelino's batshit himself, so
Okay.
that's the problem. Like I don't really know which side to believe. It just seems like a perfect storm right now, and I feel like if he does, if they do terminate his contract, I feel like he's done in Italy. Like I don't really know where else he goes.
Yeah.
Other than maybe. Maybe
Regina.
Regina, maybe he goes drops down to City of B, or I think the most likely thing for him is MLS. To be honest,
Such a wasted talent. It's just unfortunate.
Yeah.
Steve, any feel good moments of the week?
We're probably all going to agree there, to be very honest. It's Gattuso dedicating that win against Inter to
Yeah.
his sister. Guys, I don't know what else. I cannot put myself in the guy's shoes. Still being able to take the pitch, guiding that team, tough game against Inter, and dedicating it to his sister. That's what it's all about, right? Those are the headlines that we want to see in the Italian papers. And for me, that was really nice. I hope he does win. I think he deserves it. He took a tough situation at Napoli, especially taking over from Ancelotti, who was kind of like a father figure for him at Milan. Must have not been an easy move. And De Laurentiis has his own imagination and character. So I think I like what he's doing with that team. It's really catenaccio football. They're really on the counterattack, and I think Napoli has a good chance if Juve shows up as the same Juve that played the 10-man Milan. Woo! It's going to be a really interesting Coppa Italia final. I'm really happy. To add to this brioche of the week for me is that Coppa Italia is going to be on ESPN. ESPN, the actual channel for everybody who's in the States. I hope that means translated might be on a Canadian channel that people can watch. Um, Amazing, guys. Look, the other day, guys, ESPN, I was watching people toss beanbags. Like I was watching professional beanbag tossing. I couldn't believe my eyes. My wife told me, she's like, Steve, what the fuck are you watching? Exactly. My wife almost never swears. And she's like, what are you watching? They're tossing beanbags with like empty stadium, the mask, and like the different tosses. I was watching, and I wasn't watching ESPN Ocho. I was watching ESPN, the 30 for 30s channel, ESPN, and it was fucking beanbag tossing.
So Steve wants at least bring us some Coppa Italia on ESPN, hopefully here in TSN in Canada. But how about you, Anthony? We agree all on this Gattuso feel-good moment, dedicating to his sister and still doing all of that. I don't think we can argue with that point.
Yeah, what a man! Honestly, you know, it really is unfortunate, you know, how his stint at Milan ended. You know, and I feel like looking back, I was very harsh on him. From a fan's perspective. But there's never any questioning his morals as a man and as a leader. He's, you know, he seems like he handles every single moment with so much, you know, with so much grace. And like Steve said, I can't imagine, you know, what it's like to go through what he's gone through with his sister, and you know, to show up and go to work and lead your group like that to a victory, no less. And now he's one game away from winning his first major trophy as manager. So it's, you know, it's surely it has to be bittersweet for him. But, you know, I think if he does, you know, if Napoli can win that trophy, I don't think it's anything less than he deserves.
Definitely, and we're all cheering for Gattuso on not necessarily Napoli, but we're cheering for Gattuso on Wednesday. Anthony, just wanted to take the time to thank you so very much for joining us.
Oh man,
I love this, an hour and 20-minute talking. We could talk for hours, but just before we let you go, just give everybody again your Twitter handle, where they could read your stuff, and where we could you know, take your stories and break them through, because Faz has got what, 4 or 5 headlines. Steve, he's got Del Canada.
But they have to start. Everybody has to start by downloading the Score app. You don't have the Score app, you have a serious problem.
Yeah, guys, the Score app.
You give it a download.
Right? And you just go over to Serie A, and all articles, and all of them are written. But I'm assuming what, 90% all written by you, probably 100. Most of them.
I'm keeping this Serie A. I'm keeping Serie A alive in the Score app. But no, I mean, it's been a pleasure to join you guys. I've wanted to do this for so long, so I'm thankful and grateful to, you know, for the invitation, and hopefully we can do it again.
Yeah, definitely. And Larry's saying thanks, Anthony, for the confirmation of all the rumors. So yeah, Anthony knows how to take care of social media. Thank you so very much. We'll talk to you soon,
Thank
Anthony. And ovunque sempre Forza Milan.
Forza Milan.
Ciao.
Ciao.
What a great guy. Look at this, just an hour and 20 minutes of talking. Everybody's engaging. We had even a couple of people from Facebook commenting, Steve. Your hair looks fabulous. Your beard is just like, look how beautifully luscious it is. You're sending me customers my way today. We're having a great time. Other than that, Steve, it's Monday and it's time to go home.
Yeah.
Yes, Diaz no Patsipan, Faz, and Faz, please make sure that you credit him for all these rumors that you're going to be confirming with Milan News, milannews.it. David, thanks again, Vinny and Steve, for the video message this weekend. It was our pleasure. We had the whole montage. We were practicing.
Yeah, I was even on Instagram Live with my personal Instagram. I caught David and Angie sitting in front of their house, and then after they hung up on me.
Why they hung up on you?
I don't know.
It's okay. And sorry, Angie, she sent me a message on Instagram, but I realized like 6 hours later, I'm going to get this Instagram thing. I'm going to get it. Guys, thank you so very much for joining us tonight once again. Stay tuned. I don't know what Steve has planned. Sometimes Steve just pops up these podcasts, or maybe I'm just going to pop in these podcasts if I have a day off one of these days. But Steve, anything you'd like to add in closing?
Oh, Dave's making fun of my YY.
No. First of all, David, the Wi-Fi. I got him the Wi-Fi, and it's 10 times better than mine. So why don't you fucking check your American Wi-Fi? All right, that's right. Don't you fucking talk about Steve.
It's the Wi-Fi wars.
Guys, thank you so very much for joining. Stevie P, any farewell words for our legion of fans?
Guys, thank you again for tuning in. Guys, we'll be on YouTube. I have something planned for Wednesday, Thursday. It's touching a little local, and we'll talk soccer as well. So keep your notifications on for both the platforms.
And Frank saying to there's this Canadian soccer podcast or something.
Yeah,
maybe they're
sorry,
trying
Frank. I saw your message on Facebook Messenger. Just didn't have a chance to check it out.
Maybe they should check. Maybe they should interview you on this podcast, Steve. Guys, ovunque sempre.
Forza Milan!
Forza Milan. Ciao.